Am I ready? Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Friday morning group at Unity on the River in Amesbury, Mass. Hello, all live streamers and everybody. This is Friday, March 29th. And my name is Rebecca Johnson. And I'm in charge of doing the announcements and all this stuff today. So I'm going to read for you guys and stuff too. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I live not too far from here. My sister Bonnie is behind the camera. So I'm going to give some announcements first. And we got the presenter series begins in the transformation room, which can be accessed through the teachersofgod.org. If you haven't signed up, you should sign up. And April 1st is when that's going to start. It's kind of a new format they're going to do. So Bill Free is being interviewed by Lisa Natoli, which that ought to be super interesting. So the theme for the 3 months is the embodiment of Christ. So, and we also have for anybody who is looking for a ticket to the Course in Miracles conference in Boston, Massachusetts, over Memorial Day weekend, there's about 5 or 6 tickets still available. The resales are for $4.99, super savings. And if you're interested in that, it's get a hold of them through the teachersofgod.org. Bill or Lisa, or those are probably your best bets to get a hold of. The current 40-day group, which started 2 weeks ago, has they launched with about 900 new people in the 40-day group, which is huge. That's 900 more mighty companions that are going to find the truth of who they are. The next group will launch May 8th. So go to the website to get on that list. And that's from Bill Free. He sent me these notes. And I just want to tell a little story. The conference is called The Power to Heal. And for some reason, 2019 seems to be the healing year for everybody here. And one of the lessons, I don't know which one it is, and through all the healing stuff through the Course in Miracles, they talk about sickness as isolation. And a lot of people think sickness is like when you got a cold, or you got cancer, or you have issues. Sickness can be anything. Sickness is when you want to isolate yourself, you're sick. You need to heal. And I want to tell a little story. We were just in Mexico last month, and I never really thought of it this way. And we were at this beautiful, beautiful bed and breakfast, and they had like a open hot tub all night. You could go swimming, you could go in the hot tub, whenever you wanted. And they were, so my sister Bonnie Kimball and I would go in at night. We went in every single night when it was dark. First, we had to avoid the weird fruit nuts falling out of the tree so we didn't get killed while we were in there. But that just added to the adventure of the hot tub at night. So our first night there, and it's not something, I guess you'd kind of be surprised. Bonnie and I don't get too in-depth on the Course in Miracles stuff. But just to preference this a bit, we were in this little town in Mexico, and it's all hills. Cobblestone roads, all hills. And when we get to the part where we had to turn to get into the bed and breakfast, it was a steep hill. And it's been a while since we walked, We're coming from New England. We're snow up to our heads, and, we're in this beautiful town. And it's a tough one to walk up. And, I'm just like, so she posed this question to me about what is it exactly that I get aggravated with? And I said, well, and this is when I realized sickness was isolation. I said, well, I'm a heavier girl, and when I have a hard time walking or breathing or I'm sweating, I want to be alone. I don't want to be with anyone else. I want to isolate myself away from everybody. And that goes with a lot of stuff. And so I kind of, as I was saying that, I was like, wow, you kind of got it here. And so I just kind of go, until somebody says, like we're doing yoga one morning, and I've never done yoga before, and we were doing it there, and I thought I did pretty good. But we had this one pose where she goes, and now you're going to have to use some balance. You might want to hang onto the wall or something. And this lady in the back says, Becky, grab a wall. And I'm like, you grab a wall. And then I was like, and then, because I was kind of like, and I thought, oh, she's just watching out for me. But she was kind of this motherly thing. But I immediately snapped at her, and I probably should not have, you know, and I apologized afterwards. I'm like, I didn't mean it like that. I was like, you grab a wall, you know. I don't need anyone telling me what to do. My mother's not here, right? But that's also a part of the isolation. So anyway, let me put this down. So that's my little story on the sickness is isolation. I hope it helps some people understand it, because healing is a lot more than what we think. It's not just physical healing. It's just everything. It's your thoughts. It's your perspective. And so I love this little book. It's called The Daily Meditation, Practicing the Course. And guess what today is? Today is perspective. So I'm getting it. So March 29th, we must discard most of what we have learned. It's unsettling to discover that we were trained to interpret its details all wrong. Did our parents, our teachers, our religious leaders intentionally steer us wrong? Actually, they taught us what they had learned. They meant no harm. Fortunately, we now have a different view. That's all that matters. And it's our assignment to offer our interpretation to others who seek solace in a new direction. Whatever happened in the past doesn't need to be addressed again. That's a decision we can make. How we felt about our experiences was colored by a perspective we no longer share. So there's nothing to be gained by revisiting them. Forgiveness may be necessary to leave the past behind, and we can do that with the help of the Holy Spirit. While it's true that some of what we learned may not hurt us, we can't as comfortably straddle two conflicting viewpoints. Either we let the ego control our vision, thoughts, and actions, or we let the Holy Spirit. There's no in between. My new perspective will make today much more positive. So that's our little lesson on perspective. And we're going to have a meet and greet. And then after the meet and greet, we got a special guest today. I don't think she's ever been with us on camera. Leigh Baltzer, and she's Through Me to You puppetry. So we're going to have a little puppet show today too. And the puppet's name is Newton. Do not forget. Newton is his name. So right now we're going to have a little meet and greet. Namaste. Bring your love up. Let's do it.
Leave the microphone on.
Yeah, I got it. Oh
No,
I love you.
in that. To me, that story.
You're one of the reasons I decided to come over here.
Oh, really?
Bonnie, where am I supposed to be?
Back and back. Grandbaby's good.
Get another hug.
Ready? 5 minutes. Yeah, Jim Terry. Yeah, great. I love my voice. I love I feel like I'm myself to work.
I would never buy it.
I don't either. I had a little like that. Namaste. So anyway, I'm very happy. I need more myself.
My book. You can take it all. That's your card too. Okay. Hello. In the words of Linda Leland, bring your love back to the chair. Bring your love back to the chair. Bring it on back. Okay, and now, should I read Cafe Gratitude? I already read this thing. I'll read it. I'll read it anyway. Just because we do it. And I know some people might look for it. Do it. Do it. Do it. This is, yeah, we can. Yeah, we can never get enough gratitude. Let me find this unwieldy book. Read. Oh. Ooh, this is a good one. Good thing I picked it up. Hey, March 29th, Cafe Gratitude. We are made kind by being kind. Remember that on your drive home today. The grocery store, the restaurant where we're going to go have lunch. We are made kind by being kind. Being kind doesn't cost anything. It's all perspective. And then the last part is praise some aspect of nature that supports your existence. Today we might be praising rain. It supports us. So right now, I know I'm going out of camera. We're going to introduce Leigh Baltzer and Newton. Give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Becky. I think I'm on. Are we on? We're here. We're on. Thank you. Hi. Hi, friends. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and choosing to spend some time with us here in the physical room of Unity on the River in Amesbury or on live stream. And actually, I think even the people that aren't on live stream are still with us. They just don't know they are. So, who are you? Oh, yes, of course. How rude of me. My name is Newton, and this is my mother, also known as Leigh. I was, excuse me, I have a bit of a frog in my throat, so I might be clearing my voice a few times today. I was honored, truly honored, when Bill Free asked me, and you, he asked you too, to do the talk today. I've been a Course in Miracles student since about October or so of 2014. That's when I really became a consistent student, which is being a student. If you're just dabbling, I don't really know if you call yourself a student. I've found a group on a conference call when some of them are here in this room, and we did A Course in Miracles. We read the lessons together every day. Every single day, 365 days a year. There was no guilt if we didn't join for a day, but that's where I really became a student and open to the ideas and allowed them in and experimented with them and tried them out in the physical world and saw that they actually worked, and I was truly happier and freer and just happier. And I found, oh, wow, there's another way to be in the world. As Becky said, it's not the way that probably most of us were raised by our parents or by our teachers or by our religious leaders. It's a truly different way, and it has to do with peace and happiness inside and not struggling, actually, I'm learning. So we have a few different things we'd like to do today with you. Newton is going to help me. Oh, so I should just back up for a minute and just give a real quick bio. I'm a puppeteer. I've been doing puppeteer work ever since I was a little kid. And that's, to me, my ministry. As Marianne Williams would say, we all have our own ministry. It could be being a trash collector. It could be being a literal minister, teacher, doctor, lawyer, puppeteer. It's whatever is your calling that helps you be more you in the world and sharing your God-given gifts. So I realized my gift is puppeteering. Different paths along my path took me out of that for years, and different things led me back into it. A lot of the things that led me back into puppeteering were I would call not good things from a limited physical view of the world. I lost 3 jobs in a row, for example, but that forced me to, or I shouldn't say forced, it allowed me, it invited me to sit down, literally and figuratively, sit down and figure out, what am I doing with my life? What is it that I really want to do? What is it I'm called to do? Then I allowed the puppetry to come back into my life and put it out there with a different level, a different energetic level. And it was from A Course in Miracles that gave me that that freedom and that confidence to do it. One of the lines, and I might be paraphrasing, but it's basically saying, if you get serious about yourself and about what you're putting out there into the world, the universe will get serious about you. And not to worry about the results of what you're doing, not to worry about the goal and the money that you might make, or the fame you might achieve, or whatever the other external goals are. The real goal is to find what you truly love to do and allow yourself to do it. So, and to get in touch with yourself and getting in touch with your inner being or God or source. And that's what the puppetry allows me to do. So it's perfect that I'm able to do puppetry for A Course in Miracles, the very thing that helped me get back in touch with that side of me. So thank you to everybody here and to just everything in the world. Just thank you. So we're going to start off with a book that I love called Breathe Like a Bear. I teach Sunday school at a Unitarian church, and I use this book a lot with the kids. It's a nice introduction to settling ourselves, which we already did with the Namaste greeting, but I found this, and it's a very Course in Miracles exercise, which is to say a very spiritual exercise, because A Course in Miracles is a spiritual path. It's not the only path. It's one of the many paths, but it's all going to that same uppercase T truth, the truth that we are all one, that we are all here together, that we are all love and light. And that's all we are. That's it. All right, so this is called Send Good Thoughts, and I think Newton will lead us with this. Okay, so you can all do this with me, sitting here or in the camera. All right, on live stream. Okay, everybody close your eyes. Now, imagine someone that you love in your mind's eye, and imagine that person is standing in front of you. Now, think of something in your head that you could say to that person that's really nice, or an action, perhaps a hug. Think of it in your mind and say it to them in your mind, or do it to them if it's like a hug or something. Okay, now check in and see, how does that feel inside your body? How are you feeling by extending that love? I would guess you're feeling pretty good. You're feeling like yourself, capital S, self. Now, think of a different person, someone you might not know as well. Perhaps someone you're judging or holding a grievance against. You probably got somebody in your mind right now. Someone probably just popped in your mind when I said the word grievance. Stick with that person. You don't have to search far for them. They're obviously in your forefront of your mind, so stick with them. Now, if you can, try to say something nice to that person. Try to extend love in some form, whether it's words that you're giving them, or a hug, or just connecting with them, looking at them in the eye and connecting with that inner love and light inside of them. Now do this all in your mind's eye and check in with yourself. Now, how are you feeling? Lighter? Freer? More in connection, more in contact, more attuned to yourself and to others, to the interconnected web that we're all living in, as we are all connected. We are actually all one. We are all the same source, just we're different spokes coming out of that center hub of the wheel. Okay, now take a breath, let it out, and open your eyes. Thank you. I hope you're feeling lighter and more connection with each other and yourself. So, I didn't actually do that. I was leading you, but I'm going to do that when I get home. I've got some grievances I could let go of. And one of the things we learn in the Course is that there is no such thing as a small grievance. There is, as Becky said in the introduction, there's two things. There's love and there's fear. That is it. And you can change where you're coming from in any moment. That's the beauty of the Course. It teaches us and reminds us that every moment is a chance to begin again. Every moment is a chance to check in with ourselves and see, are we coming from fear? Oh, do I want to be doing that? Oh, no, we can choose to come from love at any moment. And the word love, actually, Newton and I, and Carlotta, our friend Carlotta drove up with us from down south, the South Shore. We were talking about the word love today. I almost sometimes I wish there was another word for the word love. I feel like we use that word so much, it doesn't even mean anything anymore. And oftentimes when we say it, I feel like the receiver, the person listening to our words, is taking it in the traditional form of the word love, which I equate with the word like attachment. Certainly in romantic love, like I love my spouse, my partner. That's what the Course calls a special relationship. But we have that kind of special relationship with anybody that we're seeing as special or precious. So even if we say, I love you, mom, or I love you, child, that's, yes, we're loving them, but we're also still, there's a hierarchy there, isn't there? Like, I love my mother, not your mother. I love my child, I'm saying, not necessarily your child. So the word love has a lot of baggage to it, and attachment is part of that baggage, I feel like. So when I say the word love and when I feel the word love from the Course's perspective, I think of it more as just energy, a connection, an unbreakable bond that we all share, that we're in the flow. It's not a thing that we're earning. It's not something we're earning praise for or having judgment about if we don't do something. It's unconditional love. And even that term is used so much, we often forget what that really, really means. I feel like it's scary sometimes to receive unconditional love. If you've ever done any of the lessons in the Course and you really sit with them and do them and let the words seep into your energetic being, and you're not just reading the words, you're really living them and feeling them. There's been many times I've felt that unconditional love of God, of Source. Felt like a child in his arms and almost wept with that release of, I judge myself, but here's this being, this entity that isn't judging, that doesn't even understand that concept. It's hard for me to understand the idea of a being that doesn't have that concept of judgment. It's just... So unconditional love, and love from a non-attachment sense, from a sense of connection with each other. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about love from a Course in Miracles standpoint. Would you say, Newton? Yeah, I definitely agree. And the same thing with the word forgiveness. Forgiveness is an important part of the Course in Miracles. In fact, if you had to pick one word to sum up the Course in Miracles, it might be that word, forgiveness. Now, when I say the word forgiveness, I often think of it in a more traditional sense, if I don't have my Course in Miracles mind on, my 4 points. And I think of forgiveness as I'm perceiving something you did to me. So I'm separation, because there's a you and there's a me, and you did it to me, and I don't like that. Then there's more separation because I'm judging you for the thing you did to me. But then I think, oh, I'm a Course in Miracles student, or I'm a spiritual person, or I'm a Christian, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a Muslim, and I forgive. So I, Newton, way up here, will forgive you way down there. More judgment and more separation. There's an up and a down. I'm higher, you're lower. You did something to me that I don't like, and I'm judging you. But I will forgive you because I'm spiritual and I love you. And it's okay, dear one, you're learning. Well, from the way A Course in Miracles uses that word forgiveness, it's not a judgment. It's not a, oh, it's okay, they're there. I forgive you for doing that thing that I'm judging you for anyway. Forgiveness from A Course in Miracles point of view is selective remembering. It's remembering only the love and the light that person has ever given you. And even if they've never given that to you in a physical form, they embody that. They are that. They are love and light. We all are. Just sit here for a moment and let that seep in. Feel that inside of you. You are love and you are light. You are a radiant being. That's the truth. That's a fact. Nobody can take that away from you. And when we're forgiving, from A Course in Miracles point of view, we're connecting to that love and light in the other person. It's a connection. It's a rejoining. That's what I like to say in my head when I see the word forgiveness. I think it's a rejoining. It's a remembering of who they really are, love and light, and who I really am. By remembering that they're love and light, I'm remembering myself. I am only love and light. And we connect in that moment. It can be a nanosecond of a moment because time is an illusion. It's just, if you feel that connection, and in that moment, in that brief little moment, you have forgotten about the thing that they did that made you mad. You've forgotten about the feelings. You forgot about the actual thing they did. You've let it go for that moment. And that's the miracle. That's the shift. That's the shift in perspective where Holy Spirit rushes in and takes charge of the situation by just kind of dissolving your grievance and dissolving whatever it is that's going on in their mind, and you're joining in that moment. That's forgiveness, and that's love, and that's freedom. I seem like a loving puppet, a loving kind of guy, and I like to think I am, but I really think the thing that motivates me is a bit of maybe what you might call selfishness, but I look at it as taking care of myself. It's that how do I want to feel? I'm always asking myself, how do I want to feel? How am I feeling right now? If I'm feeling good and feeling light, I'm not judging. I can't be judging and feeling good at the same time. We might be able to rationalize that we can do both at once, but in any given moment, you're doing one or the other. You're judging or you're forgiving. You're loving or you're in fear. It's very clear. So that's really the name of the game, is just checking in with your own self. Do I want to feel bad? Do I want to feel low vibration or low energy? Do I want to feel guilt or shame? Or it could just be a lack of feeling good. Do I want those things? No. So I'm choosing forgiveness out of my own self-interest. And that's not a bad thing. That reminds me. Yeah, as my mom said, we teach Sunday school at a Unitarian church in Hingham called Second Parish. Hey, Second Parish, if you're out there. The minister gave a children's message the other day that I'd like to share with you. It's a short story about a group of people called the Ballanchu people. Ballanchu. And they live in a town called Grudgeland. And whenever anybody does something to them that they don't like, they hold a grudge, because that's what they do. They are Grudgelandians. And in case they were ever to forget about the grudge, they put a spiky ball in their shoe to remind them to hold the grudge. Now, as the minister was giving this lesson to the children, one of the boys raised his hand and said, "You mean that the people that are doing the thing, the people that are being mean, they put the spiky ball in the shoe, right? Not the ones that got it done to them?" And the minister said, "No." The minister said, "The person that's receiving the injury, they put the ball in the shoe." And the boy's like, "Why?" And she said, "So they don't forget. Their whole mission in life is to remember their grudges." And it's a great metaphor, because who's getting hurt with the ball in their shoe? The evildoer, as we call him, the mean person? No. The quote unquote victim, the guy that's getting the mean thing done to them, is wearing the spiky shoe, the spiky ball. Because that's what we do to ourselves when we don't forgive. It's like we're wearing a spiky ball in our shoe that we refuse to take out. I mean, well, how silly is that when you think about it? That makes no sense. So in the interest of my own feet, which I don't even have, I don't have feet, but pretend I do. You have feet, I assume, people out there watching. In the interest of your own feet and the own comfort, take out that spiky ball in your shoe and enjoy the comfort of peace and forgiveness That's a novel idea. I like it. So every day I make sure before I put my fake shoes on, my fake legs, that I don't have any spiky balls in my shoes. In other words, I'm not holding that axe over my own head. Ow. It hurts me when I don't forgive. So yes, that's another key part of A Course in Miracles for sure. Forgiveness, love versus fear, and that in the way to achieve, I guess we don't really achieve enlightenment. It's just a state of being that comes and goes in any given moment, but I'll say achieve, just for lack of a better word. The way to achieve enlightenment is that we can't go it alone. Another big tenet of the Course, of course, is that we enter heaven hand in hand with our brother, meaning perfectly what Becky was talking about, isolation, that is a form of sickness and it's a form of separation, physical isolation or mental, emotional isolation, which could be even more dangerous because we don't see it. We're not seeing the signs to reach out and to be able to reach out to somebody. And I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, yes. So, we come together. It's like Noah's Ark. You know, the animals went 2 by 2 on the ark. We are going 2 by 2 into heaven. Which also, if you're new to A Course, heaven, they don't mean heaven like a Christian term. In A Course in Miracles, heaven is just a state of mind, a peaceful state of mind, a state of love that you're in at any given moment. You don't have to wait till you die to go to heaven. You can choose right now to be in heaven, or you can choose to be in, I can't say it, Mom, H-E-L-L. Right, I'm not allowed to say that word, but you know, the opposite of heaven. Not peace, hell. I said it. Yes, you can choose to be in heaven or hell in any given moment. And let me just move some of this out of the way here. Later on, we're going to be talking about, and I'll be reading, I Will Be Still an Instant and Go Home. It's lesson 182 from A Course in Miracles, if you want to follow along on live stream. We'll read that in a little bit. But the idea of that lesson, I will be still an instant and go home. Going home is that forgiveness piece. It's letting go of all of your crap, for lack of a better word, of all the shields and all the defenses you've created to hold people separate and hold yourself separate. It's letting go of all of that. And going home is, it can be a literal thing of dying, releasing our bodies and returning back to spirit, a pure spirit form. We're always spirit, so we're not returning back. We're always it, but returning back to that state solely, and not the physical form. So going home can mean that, and it certainly does mean that. But it also means that choice that you have in any given moment to choose love or fear. And anytime you're choosing love, you're home. That's your true home. That's your true you. So, and you can do that at any given time, in any part of the day. And if you find yourself you chose wrongly, no problem. Choose again. It's so easy. When you let go of that, oh my God, I did it wrong. Oh my God, I made a bad choice. Oh, I hurt this person. I said this wrong thing. There's a lot of pressure. It feels like it's a permanent thing. The only thing that's permanent is what you write on the internet. But everything else is, it just dissolves. It can be undone by your changing of perspective, forgiveness, and allowing Holy Spirit to enter to kind of just meld everything back together, to make that bridge between the gap of your true you and the one that you're experiencing as a human and not doing, you're not living quite to your fullest potential of your inner being. So I will be still an instant and go home. So how do we go home besides with somebody else in a state of forgiveness and love? That first part of the sentence, I will be still an instant. And that's a part that I personally struggle with. We used to do on our conference call every morning, we'd have a short time for meditation where we read the lesson together and then we were just being silent and allowing it to sink in for however minutes, a minute, 5 minutes. every time I would think, oh, I got 5 minutes free. Let me quickly check my text, or let me quickly check Facebook or whatever. That's, those 5 minutes, if I had spent actually doing the meditation and being there in that moment, really being there, as you know, that would have expanded time, and I would have received the experience of way more than 5 minutes in my life. It would have received hours, days, years, because time is an illusion, and those 5 minutes were frittered away because I couldn't sit still. I wasn't comfortable enough to sit with my own self and just allow. There's so much to be said for just sitting there allowing you might actually hear something inside. Oftentimes it's not that clear though. It's more just a feeling of peace, of connection, it's honoring yourself because you're giving yourself that time. You're saying to yourself, I'm important enough to put aside the worldly cares for a moment and check in with my own true being and with, with Source, with God. And there's nothing more affirming than that you can, there's no better gift that you can give yourself. Now I still struggle with meditation. So it's hard for me to sit still. It really is. So I do more active meditations I find are helpful to silence the mind or one part of the brain so the other part can really hear the messages. So walking meditation's good. A walking meditation is great. I do oftentimes chanting. I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. It's a Buddhist chant. And that's giving I might get this mixed up, right brain, left brain, but let's just call it right brain. I'm giving the right brain a thing to focus on, saying the words, focusing on saying them, hearing the words come out of my mouth. And that's allowing one side of my brain to be busy. So the other side can be fully empty and open. And that's the other thing that we learn from the Course. And if you do the lessons every day, or mostly every day, and don't beat yourself up if you don't, because it's not about beating yourself up. It's about honoring yourself. Doing them every day helps us to come to the morning where we're most likely to be open and receptive. Our most open and receptive time is in the morning, usually. And to come to that place open and empty, like that, like the empty bowl. Let me see, I have a quote that I'd like to read here. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. Yes, here we go. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to look up the section of the Course that this is in. But if you want to Google the first line, it should come up. And the first line is this. Newton, I'm just going to put you down for a minute. Mom! Sorry. And feel free to close your eyes if you like, though you don't have to. Simply do this. Be still and lay aside all thoughts of what you are and what God is, all concepts you have learned about the world, all images that you hold about yourself. Empty your mind of everything it thinks is either true or false, good or bad. Empty your mind of every thought it judges worthy and all the ideas of which it is ashamed. Hold onto nothing. Do not bring with you one thought the past has taught, nor one belief you ever learned from anything. Forget this world. Forget this Course, and come with wholly empty hands unto your God. That's from A Course in Miracles. And just allow that in for a moment. It's just so freeing. It's like we think ourselves as the arbitrators of deciding what's good and bad and what's right and wrong. And we have that inner guidance, and we know, we hear it in our intuition. What's not good and bad, but what works and doesn't for us. Let's just put it that way. There's things that works and things that don't. Robbing from a bank for me doesn't work. I just won't feel good at the end of the day, regardless of whether it's right or wrong morally. I won't feel good, and that's what this is all what we're talking about. This is the path to world peace. Is our own inner peace. So allowing to let go of that need to judge everything as good and bad and right and wrong and labeling it all and making sure it's all in these containers in our mind, where it's so much more complex than that and nebulous. It's all and nothing all at once. It's all good and it's all bad. Everything has a good has a bad side, and vice versa, the yin and the yang. It's just so freeing when you don't feel like you have to be grasping so tightly. I feel like I'm Darth Vader with this glove on. Grasping at that need to control, to label. It's just, I've been doing a lot of that lately. I just moved recently. I sold my house. I'm now a renter instead of an owner. I'm living in a different part of the South Shore. And I felt a physical release. I mean, I'm just lighter. I'm financially lighter. I got rid of a ton of crap. I'm physically lighter, but obviously it's energetically and emotionally and spiritually that I'm really feeling it. And all those other things are the effects of the spiritual lightness. The physical lightness is coming from that spiritual lightness. It's just, I've been doing a lot of that lately, that, it's so free. It's great. And actually, speaking of Darth Vader, I've always been so, not shocked, what's the word? Just in honor of and pleasantly happy to see things like A Course in Miracles showing up in things as mainstream as, say, Star Wars. You know, Star Wars to me is all about A Course in Miracles. It's the Force and the dark side of the Force. And did you ever notice they don't call it the good side of the Force? The Force is just the Force, because love is just love. There is no bad side of love. There's no dark side of love. Love is love. The Force is the Force. Then you have the dark side of the Force, which is, in Course in Miracles language, fear, or the absence of love. Fear is not anything, really, right? It's just the absence of something. Like the way darkness is the absence of light, fear is the absence of love. And so, you know, all these, my age, I guess, I don't know what generation we are, Generation X or Y, I've lost track of all the letters, but my generation plus the kids, you know, that are rewatching Star Wars now. I love that this idea is being put out to the masses, that that scene in the Dagobah swamp in Empire Strikes Back, when Yoda is training Luke and he's talking about the Force, and the way he describes it is exactly how we describe love and energy. It surrounds us. It connects each of us. It connects you to me, to the rocks, to the trees, to everything in nature, to everything even inanimate, to this carpet here. We're all connected in some way. And it's, you know, size matters not, as Yoda reminds Luke when he's trying to raise his X-Wing fighter from the muck, from the swamp. And he says he's been able to levitate with his mind rocks because they're little. And in his mind, he thinks he can do that. And Yoda is teaching him, it's not about the size. You either can do it or you can't. And now you obviously can't, because you think it's about the size. And the X-Wing fighter is too big to lift with my mind, Luke says. That goes right to the Course, that there is no such thing as a small grievance. They're all the same. If you're not coming from love, you are coming from fear. It doesn't matter if the person burned down your house or cut you off in traffic. You're holding the grievance. In that moment, you're separated from love and from yourself, no matter how big or small it is, whether it's an X-Wing fighter size grievance or a rock size grievance or a pebble. So I love A Course in Miracles and how it shows up in all sorts of pop culture like Star Wars. And actually, here you go, Newton. Newton and my son Fisher, who some of you might know because he used to join our Course in Miracles daily conference calls. Newton and Fisher made a video about a rap that they wrote about Star Wars and A Course in Miracles. Unfortunately, Fisher, number one, he's in school, and number two, he's somehow outgrown, not A Course in Miracles, but like his own mother. And the puppet, he's not into puppets anymore, and it's so sad. But it's just a phase. This too shall pass. And I, of course, love him no matter what, but I wish you could be up here with us doing it because it was so cute. We do have a link on our YouTube, on our website, that you can watch this if you'd like to, with the young Fisher. But for now, I'll have to be the beatbox, and Newton can do the rap, okay? So this is a short rap about A Course in Miracles and Star Wars, right? Is it about Star Wars, Newton? Nah, not really, Mom. Oh, I know. The whole show we were doing is called May the Force Be With You. That's why it's Star Wars related.
Did you tell them how to find her?
Oh, sure. If you go to through me, thank you, Bonnie. Through me2you.com is the website, and then you click on TV shows, the link, and it's called episode 4. It's called May the Force Be With You, episode 4. It's in a long list of videos on the TV show section. Okay, ready, Newton? Here we go. I'll give you the beatbox here. Feel free to join in. Yo, 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 what's up with the love? I feel it within. It comes from above. When I give it, I get it. When I get it, I give it. I can choose love each and every minute. It's the only way I can really live it. Love is energy flowing like the force. It connects us together. We're all one, of course. A Course in Miracles reminds of us this. We can choose love or fear, but only one leads to bliss. Fear blocks your sight. You can't see through the mist. But love causes joy, peace, and happiness. Yo, I'm out. Oh. Thank you, Newton. I did it. You did it, even without Fisher. Good job, buddy. There was a line in there about the force. That's right. Yes, it's flowing like the force. And the other thing I've also picked up along my path is once you find something like this, the two things I did, because it was increasing my level of personal transformation at an exponential rate once I really started doing the course. It changed my life completely, more than any other thing I've ever done in my life. So the first thing I wanted to do is share it with everybody. And I judged them if they weren't doing it, which of course goes right against everything in the course. But we all do that because especially in the beginning of a path, because you're getting so excited about the changes you're seeing in yourself, and out of your perception of love, you want to share it with your friends and your loved ones. And then, of course, there's judgment there because you think there's something they need to fix. And they're not doing it your way. So there's judgment on top of judgment. So I've learned over time, it's a cliche, but when you really feel it, it feels like it's the newest thing in the world. It's not my path, it's theirs. And it's their choice to find this or something else, whatever works for them. It's also their choice to find nothing at all and to continue to live the life they're living. If they are swimming in a shallow river of pain where nothing terrible is happening to them, so they stay in that shallow river, there's big things that happen to you that yank you right out, that often leads us to something like A Course in Miracles, like a divorce or a death in the family or a serious illness or a job loss in my case. Those things are actually gifts, right? Because they oftentimes wake us up out of that shallow river of pain that we may or may not actually be aware of because it's become our new normal. So anyway, if people want to be in that shallow river of pain, that's up to them too. This is none of my business. It's really just me. Again, it sounds selfish, but it's about me. It's about how I am perceiving others, not about how they're perceiving me. It's about how I'm putting myself out into the world. It's about my own perspective of the world itself and people in it and of myself. And again, that's another freeing thing, when you can really let that go. And I still have moments I snap back into the old ways of, I got to get my brother to do this. I got to get my friend to start doing this, or listen to that person on YouTube or whatever. I still share things with people, but I don't have that thing behind my words or actions of like, you better do this, or that judgment. I think I'm starting to shed that, which feels really good. So that's one thing I'm learning. And the other thing is to not beat yourself up. When you find something like this and you're going on a path, it's like an upward trajectory, and all these changes are happening, all these wonderful things and all these new ways of seeing the world are coming into you. Then I think we oftentimes we revert back to our old ways of thinking at times. We're not just always going up, 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 and new, different ways of seeing. We revert back because we're humans. That's just how we're built. To not beat yourself up for that. That's you're able to see when you're back there. You know, there's a new awareness. There's a whole new level of it's an unveiling, right? So it's moving away more of that veil. You're seeing more clearly, but you still might go back and do that thing. That thing that you've been trying not to do. That's okay. If there's an apology that might be called for, you certainly can apologize to someone else or to yourself. But to be okay with going backwards, be okay with not being always up, and learning and doing the right thing and giving yourself a break. You know, that's really about self-love. And again, you know the difference between self-indulgence, where you're just letting yourself off the hook all the time and you're not really looking at in the mirror of things that you might need to address and look at, versus holding yourself too stringently to that perfection, level of, I must do everything right. I can't go backwards. I'm now in the course. I can't not forgive people because I'm in the course. No, we're learning. We're helping each other. And we're just hopefully making less errors of fear-based judgment. But we still do that. And we'll probably always do that till the end, till we completely shed our physical bodies, because that's just the nature of human beings. It's us being human. We can forgive ourselves for being human when those moments come. So that's another thing I like to share. It's freeing. And do you forgive me too, Mom? Yes, Newton, I've been able to forgive you a lot more than I used to. What do you need to forgive me for anyway? I thought I was just this perfect being of light. You are. But sometimes you say and do things that are not coming from that perfect being of light place. Wouldn't you say? I guess that's true. That's true. So I'm just looking at the time. I would like to share with you the lesson of 182. It's called, I will be still an instant and go home. And like I always talked about, the concept of going home is not death, and it's not physically your house, although it can be those things. But what we're talking about here is going home in our own mind, to finding our own, true inner self, to connecting with our own heart and our own truth, which is love, purely love. That's what going home is. So I'm going to play some background music, and you might be familiar with this lesson already, which is great. And if you're not, that's also great. I invite you to sit back, either in this room or at home, close your eyes. You can listen to the words, or you can just go along with the feeling, the energy that the words are expressing. And don't worry about getting caught up in the intellectualizing of it. Just let yourself go with the flow of the sound of my voice. And we did do a sound check, so hopefully, if YouTube cooperates, we'll play some nice background, royalty-free, public domain music. Let's see. Are you hearing that, Bonnie? Okay. I will be still an instant and go home. Let's take a deep breath. This world you seem to live in is not home to you. And somewhere in your mind, you know that this is true. A memory of home keeps haunting you, as if there were a place that called you to return. Although you do not recognize the voice, nor what it is the voice reminds you of. Yet still, you feel an alien here, from somewhere all unknown. Nothing so definite that you could say with certainty you are an exile here. Just a persistent feeling, sometimes not more than a tiny throb, at other times hardly remembered, actively dismissed, but surely to return to mind again. No one but knows whereof we speak, yet some try to put by their suffering in games they play to occupy their mind and keep their sadness from them. Others will deny that they are sad and do not recognize their tears at all. Still others will maintain that what we speak of is illusion, not to be considered more than but a dream. Yet, who, in simple honesty, without defensiveness and self-deception, would deny he understands the words we speak? We speak today for everyone who walks this world, for he is not at home. He goes uncertainly about an endless search, seeking in darkness for what he cannot find, not recognizing what it is he seeks. 1,000 homes he makes, yet none contents his restless mind. He does not understand. He builds in vain. The home he seeks cannot be made by him. There is no substitute for heaven. All he ever made was hell. Perhaps you think it is your childhood home that you would find again, the childhood of your body and its place of shelter, are a memory, now so distorted that you merely hold a picture of a past that never happened. Yet there is a child in you who seeks his father's house and knows that he is alien here. This childhood is eternal, with an innocence that will endure forever. Where this child shall go is holy ground. It is his holiness that lights up heaven and that brings to earth the pure reflection of the light above, wherein are earth and heaven joined as one. It is this child in you your Father knows as his own son. It is this child who knows his Father. He desires to go home so deeply, so unceasingly. His voice cries unto you to let him rest a while. He does not ask for more than a few instances of respite, just an interval in which he can return to breathe again the holy air that fills his Father's house. You are his home as well. He will return. But give him just a little time to be himself within the peace that is his home, resting in silence and in peace and in love. This child needs your protection. He is far from home. He is so little that he seems so easily shut out. His tiny voice, so readily obscured, his call for help almost unheard amid the grating sounds and harsh and rasping noises of the world. Yet, does he know that in you abides his sure protection, and you will fail him not. He will go home, and you along with him. I will be still an instant and go home. I will be still an instant and go home. I will be still an instant and go home. This childness, just this child, is your defenselessness, your strength. He trusts in you. He came because he knew you would not fail. He whispers of his home unceasingly to you, for he would bring you back with him, that he himself might stay and not return again where he does not belong, and where he lives an outcast in a world of alien thoughts. His patience has no limits. He will wait until you hear his gentle voice within you, calling you to let him go in peace, along with you to where he is at home and you with him. When you are still an instant, when the world recedes from you, when the valueless ideas cease to have value in your restless mind, then you will hear his voice. So poignantly, he calls to you that you will not resist him longer. In that instant, he will take you to his home and you will stay with him in perfect stillness, silent and at peace, beyond all words, untouched by fear and doubt, sublimely certain that you are at home. Rest with him frequently today, for he was willing to become a little child that you might learn of him how strong is he who comes without defenses, offering only love's messages to those who think he is their enemy. He holds the might of heaven in his hand and calls them friend. This gives his strength to them, that he may see he would be friend to them. He asks that they protect him, for his house is far away, his home is far away, and he will not return to it alone. Christ is reborn as but a little child each time a wanderer would leave his home. Christ is reborn, for he must learn that what he would protect is this child who comes defenseless and who is protected by defenselessness. Go with him from time to time today. You are as much an alien here as he. Take time today to lay aside your shield, which profits nothing. Lay down the spear and sword you raised against an enemy without existence. Christ has called your friend and brother. He has even come to ask your help in letting him go home today, completed and completely. He has come, as does a little child who must beseech his father for protection and for love. He rules the universe, and yet he asks unceasingly that you return with him and take illusions as your God no more. You have not lost your innocence. It is for this you yearn. This is your heart's desire. This is your voice you hear. And this, the call that cannot be denied. The Holy Child remains with you. His home is yours. Today he gives you his defenselessness, and you accept it in exchange for all the toys of battle you have made. And now the way is open, and the journey has an end in sight at last. Be still an instant and go home with him, and be at peace a while. I will be still an instant and go home. I will be still an instant and go home. I will be still an instant and go home. And that is A Course in Miracles, lesson 182. What a beautiful invitation. Thank you so much. And thank you, Public Domain YouTube, for the music. And Moby. I think that was Moby's work. We have a few minutes left. I would like to open it up to more of a conversation. If anybody would have anything they'd like to share or ask. Oh, let me put Newton back on.
Come on, we want to see your beautiful face.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi,
I have to
Leigh.
give you a hug.
I know.
I'm so glad I got here to hear you today.
Yes,
I have a
thank
little
you.
obstacles, but I'm delighted to see you as you are now. It's probably been 2 or 3 years since we've interacted
Yep.
one-on-one.
Yep.
I can see the effects of what got started a while back and lightening your physical situation, selling your house,
Yeah.
and lightening all the other things, and
Yeah.
your confidence and your message I found awesome.
Oh,
So
thank you.
very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Very
Thank
much.
you. Thanks, Nancy.
You're welcome, Newton.
Namaste. Let's see. Namaste.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be quiet.
Hi, Laura.
Hi. That was really, really good.
Oh, thank you.
I commend you. That was beautiful. The puppetry and everything.
Thanks.
And that lesson is perfect to be calm for a minute and go home. That's what all of it's about, right? Finding the love, being the light, carrying the message, not carrying the mess. Like they say in AA.
Yes.
You know, I carried the mess for years. Now I carry the message.
I love it.
And everything is just happening. The world happens, and I can either beat it down or I can just love it up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, where I have to remain the hope and the light for people and just show them, because words don't teach, although those words were beautiful. We teach by being.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful thing. And it was awesome.
Oh, thanks so much.
Very, very, very good.
And
Thank
something you just said reminds me that when we are trying to teach with words, if there's any kind of judgment about that person, they will feel it. Even
Yep.
if all your words are nice and pretty, they'll feel that energetically when you have a judgment against them. So, because we're all one, so we're all
Yep.
connected. So we know when
Yep.
we're being held in a grievance by somebody else, and you don't learn from that place.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I love the quote from James Twyman. He said, "I teach love. Sometimes I even use words."
Yeah. Yes.
Jimmy Twyman, yeah.
Yes. I think it'll be at the end of April.
Oh, hi, Linda. Hi, Linda.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Long time no
I
see.
know.
Yeah. So, the puppet, and I remember your son,
Yeah.
on the call,
Mhm.
and I don't know the ages because my kids, same thing, and they've grown so much, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he started it.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the thing that really solidified the course for me was when I realized it worked with my ex, because obviously that's a place ripe with me falling into judgment and anger, right, with my ex. And we often had to talk about money. After we broke up, we still had to talk about money and Fisher and childcare. And every time I went into a conversation with him, once I learned the course, I would ask Holy Spirit to enter in first. Not with him. This wasn't out loud. This was just in my head before we talked. Say, Holy Spirit, please be with me. It was that simple. And I just sat there for just a minute and let it feel that shift. Every single time, 100%, the conversation would be a miraculous conversation. Either he wouldn't say the things I thought he was going to say, or I would say different things than I planned on saying, like much nicer things than I planned on saying. Holy Spirit really did enter in. It was beautiful. So now Fisher was 4 when we broke up. So and he's 11 now. So he's been doing this in some fashion for like 7 years.
Yeah. My kids are 6 years apart. Yeah, so they're 17 and 11. So
Your
6
kids
years
are?
ago, right? Yeah. What?
Oh, your
My
child
kids are 17 and 11 now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So whatever was going on, and then the funny thing is, I had an ex-husband too, and like you were at another level because I still don't talk to him. And today I was gonna go drop the restraining order. Finally, I'm like, I don't really need this. It's this whole idea of me being able to step and talk, and I don't know how to talk, or he would yell at me, and I'd lose myself. It's like even with my kids, I still have trouble talking. It's like I'm lost, what I mean? So, but I'm in there. It's just how do I get out there? And he said about the puppet, right? He doesn't want to do the puppet.
Oh,
Like
he doesn't. Yeah, he used to
and you
be
even
more involved with
outgrowing,
the puppet
like,
shows.
You know what I mean? Like you yourself, you know, all by yourself. You know what I mean? You could be doing that.
What's
be a spiritual teacher, like
without the
Marianne.
puppets? Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's another level, right?
Yeah, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah. It's hard to grow into.
But is it hard to grow, or is it hard to stay where we are in this space of,
right.
nebulous, like forgiving and it's easier to. Growth might be painful, but there's something on the other side of it where staying here stuck in the stagnant waters is not the choice I want to make anymore. Let's just say,
Oh yeah, and that whole idea of going within and asking first, and I just haven't been. I don't know what it is. It's just so easy, right? You just remember. Like that, remember, put yourself back together again. While you were talking, I had so much, connections and, but I can't remember it. You know what I mean? I wanted to say something, I wanted to connect with you.
Yeah. The other thing, though, I want to bring up, too, that the course has helped me do, it's not that I'm this is perfect person, that I'm always doing the right thing, quote unquote, right thing, it's that when I do lapse into the fear-based modes of judgment and, fear-based thinking, which leads to fear-based actions, I catch myself quicker. I still do it, but I catch myself so much quicker. And one, I'm getting better at forgiving myself when I do lapse back into that. And two, like I said, I catch it quicker so that the repercussions aren't as big or as dire as before, when you just let it go on and on and on, and it would just get worse and worse and worse. And whatever lesson I didn't learn from the person in front of me, I learned from the next person, but the lesson would be louder because I didn't learn it the first time. So the external reality felt worse. It's like, if you don't learn, I had a roommate once that I wasn't a good living situation, and it was hard for me to put forth some clear boundaries with her. Okay. I actually ended up running away. Like, I literally left my house for weeks at a time and stayed with my mother or stayed with friends because I didn't have the tools in my toolbox to be able to get my needs met in a loving way. Yeah. And so I just shut down and didn't do anything. Obviously that didn't feel good either. So I knew the next time I had a new roommate, once this thing just dissolved out of just time taking care of itself, but I didn't do it. I didn't step into my light. I didn't speak my truth. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we don't need to do that. We just need to just change it for the next time. Other times it's called for to speak your truth. I didn't do any of that stuff, but I did at least learn the next time I have a roommate, I need to be clear about the boundaries. And I realized what I used to think of as something that's mean, giving them boundaries and telling them what I would like them to do and not do, was actually, I think they took it as a sign of love, because they were very receptive. They liked to know what it was expected of them in the house. Yes. Then I had my things out there, and they received it, and we lived in harmony. And I was able to put up to make these boundaries, which I. At the time, I also saw as like separation and this and that. No. This is just something that needed to be done. Yeah. And I did it in a loving way, I think, and it was received. And it was just so, if you don't learn the lesson from the first person, it just gets amped up and amped up and amped up.
Yeah, it's all opportunity.
Yeah, because we're all each other's teachers, and we're all each other's reflection.
2 minutes.
Yeah, I had one more question here someone wanted to ask.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
If you get your point across.
Well, in Greece, they put the rules on and everybody's at peace because they know the rules. If you're in Greece, right? And then you gave me a lesson when you came in here today, and I was asking you all these questions, and you said, "I got to go do this." You were a little frazzled, and then you came back and apologized. So I got firsthand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Yeah. Thank you.
Shirley.
Hi, Shirley.
Come here, Cheryl.
Hi, Shirley. Yes, you don't have to, but this way I can give you a hug, Shirley.
I love you.
Hi. I love you. So good to see you.
So I was one of the people on the conference call,
Mm-hmm.
and we did the lessons every morning. And, we have a bond with each other, everyone that was on that call. And Fisher, he used to do the lessons. And when I think of him, I could melt.
His little voice saying, "You could choose peace instead of this, Shirley. I could choose peace instead of this." Yeah.
Exactly. But the meditation was just, I mean, I went there in the stillness. And, I thought it was so special.
Oh, good.
And you're a fantastic teacher.
Oh, thanks.
You've come so far.
Oh, thank you. We all have, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful journey. Thank you, everybody. Yay!
It's been wonderful
Thank
to hear
you.
you speak and be here. And I hope you come back more often.
Oh,
because
I'd
we
love
love
to.
you.
Oh, I love you too.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Mwah. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Newton.
Thank you, Becky.
You stay up here.
Oh, stay up here. Okay.
Yeah. Come on, everyone, get up.
Oh, a circle. Excellent. Oh, come on, Sam. Carlotta, bring Sam up. This is my friend Sam.
Oh, good, Sam.
Hey, everybody. This is not my normal voice.
Come on, we got a small
I'm so
circle today.
excited.
Come
We're
on
gonna-
up.
Do we actually literally make a circle? Like
Yeah,
we
we're
touch
supposed to make
in
a
the
circle.
middle?
We tried.
We try.
Can you hold my hand, Carlotta?
We try really hard to make a circle.
We feel.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I forgot to say in the announcements that we do have a donate button on theteachersofgod.org. If you feel the need, the want to donate to help us live stream and stuff, and we also have a love box in the back for all of us here to help to pay for this space so we can do it. So we're going to do the prayer for the blessing and tithes. Someone want to start? You're probably better at this, Nancy.
Divine
love
as
me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Amen.
Amen.
Laura, I'm going to pass this over to you for prayer.
All right, everybody take a deep breath. Close your eyes. This was a beautiful teaching today, and I learned, as I always learn, as I open my eyes in the morning, like she talked about, and my channel is open. That is the time for me to connect in any way, however I must do it, so that I am connected to my source, to my God, so that I and all of us can go home for an instant. Amen.
Amen.
Yay! Everyone have a great week.
Yay! Yay! Woohoo!
Okay, now that we're all